Bro, this is why nobody thinks the Bronx is a real place. Tell me why there's a place that's going viral in the Bronx for selling unopened Amazon packages. Ooh. They are claiming to have sourced these packages from liquidation centers in Brooklyn and New Jersey, and they're offering these mystery packages for only $4. Some people have gotten lucky and have gotten like electronics. Other people have just gotten junk or whatever. So today we're gonna try our luck and we're gonna get a mystery package. Dile hello, hola.
Hello, this is the best place where you could get with $4 you could get many things.
Okay, perfecto. What do you have here? What's the selection?
We have a different thing. We could have shoes, we have pants, we have everything. I could not mention because so many stuff that I don't even remember what it is.
Perfect, because I'm trying to get more people to come to the Bronx.
Yes.
$4 nada más.
$4.
¿Por cuánto? Por una. Un paquete $4. Okay, you guys, one package is $4 and they're all right here. Honestly, it was actually really fun looking through all of the packages, holding them, trying to guess what's inside. And yes, they do scratch out the names and the addresses of the previous owners.
I want that you see what we have. We're going to have an electronic too next week.
You're gonna have electronics next week.
Besides this, we have a beauty supply with 50% off, 15% off.
Oh, nice.
We have a house, everything, clothing. You have to see what.
Perfecto. Y hablan español también.
Claro que sí.
¿Eres dominicano?
Claro.
Perfecto. Let's open one up together.
Let's open this one together.
And this one is a surprise. Oh, how
Yes.
exciting. Let's see. Ah,
This is nice.
una camiseta.
Yes. This
Nice.
is
Oh!
very nice.
Wait, this is actually
Only
nice.
$4. I don't even know what it is, but I found it. This one. Yes.
Ah,
That's
hey.
yours. I gave it to you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
I get this one. Big. That's for her.
Big one for her because she comes here all the time
Yes.
and she's a loyal customer.
Oh, this
Oh,
is nice. This is
espérate.
decoration, but it's nice.
Para la casa.
Yes.
Claro que sí.
Yes.
Ay, mira, para la Navidad. Mira esto. Qué perfecto. Feliz Navidad. Hear that? No idea what that could be. ¿Quién está poniendo la música? ¿Que me gusta?
Nosotros ponemos.
Ah, mira.
¿Tú eres dominicana?
Sí, yo soy dominicana y hondureña.
Baila mucha salsa, los dos.
Yo, I love Dominicans so much. Tell me why we was dancing salsa. Anyways, you guys secured the bag. Now let's go home and open up and see what it is.
Yeah, boy.
Yo, are you thinking what I'm thinking? This is weird, yeah? Because one thing I do know, in this new era of deliveries, a lot of packages do go missing. And it's actually happened to me recently. So, where I live at the moment, I have a concierge, and the packages are always meant to go to the concierge. It don't come to us. It goes to the reception, right? And on the weekends, I don't know why my building does this. It's very annoying. The concierge is only open from Saturday morning from like, I think it's like 10 till 12 or something. So any packages that arrive after that go just outside the concierge, which even though it's in the building, as long as you're let in the building, there's just a bunch of packages at the reception area, meaning people can rob it. So recently, one of my packages actually got robbed. This is a true story. And it was because the delivery driver, there's a sign that says, if the concierge is closed, please go directly to the resident's flat. Yeah? Obviously, delivery drivers trying to get their work done fast, just left it at the front. Okay, the concierge is closed, we leave it at the front. But that leaves it vulnerable. And my package and a bunch of other packages got robbed. So now I'm looking at this shopkeeper a bit funny. Like, what? What do you mean returned Amazon packages? And how do you keep it up like that? How do you have so many? Wow. So, what I think now, there's two possibilities. I can't imagine them going around stealing packages because technically this is an ad for the shop, right? This is marketing, right? So would you want to be that obvious because the police will definitely come lurking around, right? So the other possibility is just stuff from his shop, and he has found a way to use Amazon packaging to package it. And it, I guess, if everything is cheap, yeah. So if they get a bunch of stuff from like China and everything's cheap products, you could do that for $4. Do you know what I mean? So it's a good marketing and sales strategy, I think. And maybe like a 5% part of me thinks they steal those packages, but then there's another 95 that's like, nah, it's probably from their shop. Is another way of selling their products, or maybe even products that didn't sell, so they just hide it in packages and whatever. So big up the shopkeeper. This one had me. I was confused for a minute, and obviously maybe I'm a bit triggered because I've had a package robbed recently. But yeah.
There's an increase in the number of people cutting off their parents, but there's one thing I've noticed about this trend. Has anybody else noticed that when an adult child chooses not to have a relationship with a parent, it's always, but it's your mom and dad. You only get one mom and dad. Why are you doing that? And it's never, wow, what could a parent have done to cause their child to make this decision but feel like it was the right one? It's never, what happened that made a grown adult feel like the need to walk away from the people who raised them? And it's definitely never, but they're your children. How can you treat them that way? Why is the weight placed on the child? Why is the burden of maintaining peace, preserving connection, and forgiving endlessly dumped onto the very person who's probably carrying the scars? No one ever stops to think, maybe that parent wasn't a safe person. Maybe the parent was emotionally manipulative, abusive, dismissive, narcissistic, or just constantly absent when it mattered most. Maybe parent was just a title and not something they lived up to. And yet the child is the one questioned. The child is the one who's guilted, shamed, or gaslit. There's this automatic defense of the parent as if the role of parent comes with some lifetime immunity from accountability. But here's the truth. People don't cut off their parents typically for no reason. It's not impulsive. It's not heartless. It's usually the last result after years of trying, years of hoping things would change, years of therapy, tears, inner conflict. It's often deep, painful act of self-preservation. And yet society keeps asking the wrong question. Instead of why did you walk away, maybe it's time to start asking what happened that made staying impossible.
Yo, this is so true. Why is it always the child that gets questioned? Do you know what I mean? And it could be a young adult. I'm saying child because we're just using that word to describe the offspring of the parent, you know? It's usually when children, what I've noticed is when you get to an adult stage, yeah, you get more knowledge, you get more wisdom, you start to see that everyone is actually human and everyone can make mistakes and not everyone's perfect. But when we're young, we kind of grow up to believe that our parents are always right. Unless unless you've got parents that are really messed up. You tend to just naturally think because they're older, because they raised you, that they're just right. But then when you get older, you start to notice some inconsistencies. And then you start to build up your own character, and then comes the boundaries. And then when them boundaries get crossed, you question it, and then maybe you start to see the wrongdoings, and then that could lead to someone cutting off their parent. But I've noticed that every time it's spoken about, it's always, especially in African culture, it will always be, that's your mom. Respect your elders. What does that mean? Does that mean they're allowed to get away with anything? Do you know what? I just believe that no one's above correction, and parents should be held accountable too, you know, and you got to look at it deeply because technically they have raised you, right? And they're meant, like, usually I reckon parents kind of get away with a lot anyway, just because of nature, just because as a child, your your first love is usually your parents, and then you grow into that and you get familiar, and that cause that and that creates an attachment. So technically it will be hard for you to dislike or hate or want to lock off your parents. It will take a lot for you to do that. Do you know what I mean? So whenever that comes, whenever it gets to that, I think the parent should be questioned. What did you do? Do you know what I mean? And then you can ask the child. Of course, there are different cases where children are bad, and the parent has tried different methods to correct that child, and then it just ruins the relationship. That's a different story. But for that child to really want to escape their parents, what went wrong? And it shouldn't be focused on the focus shouldn't just be, oh, the child should respect their parents, or why are you doing that? Because they're your parents. It should be what went wrong. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man.
Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive. That's risky. Somebody says, yeah, but I'm looking for safety and security. Fine, then huddle in a corner. We'll cover you with a sheet, bring you 3 meals a day. And we'll protect you, feed you, look after you, care for you. We won't let anything happen to you. And you'll probably live to be 100. The guy said, well, yeah, I'd live to be 100. But what a way to live. Right. What a way to live, safe and secure. Don't ask for security. Ask for adventure.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Take risks. Now, I really do believe in this. This is how I live my life. This is me. Even me doing this video now, I'm taking a risk. Me taking time to do YouTube, I'm taking a risk. But you know what? I prefer to look at the possibilities and what could be positively. So what the positive outcomes that could come from it. Yeah, I have the fear. Yeah, I have the doubts. But the possibility of what could be, the positive side of that, yeah, the win is what makes me do it. And the way he broke it down was priceless. It was just like, yeah, he ate. Is that what you younger say now? He ate. That man ate. Because it's true, like, so I just wanna take this opportunity to like tell anyone, whatever you're thinking of doing in life right now, whatever you wanna do it. Take that risk. Take that risk. There are 2 types of risks in this life. There's the silent risk, and then there's the loud risk. The silent risks are the ones that you do every day and you don't even realize it's a risk, because it's like your day to day and you're kind of programmed to do it. So like crossing the road, you kind of have to do it. But every time you cross a road, you take a risk. Going to work or staying in the same job is a risk. Give you an example. You could work in the same company from the age of like 22 to 40. Or you could have a business opportunity. If you work 22 to 40, and then let's say at 40 you face redundancy or somehow you lose your job, yeah, you have just had one skill in life, or you haven't diversified, you've stayed in the same position, you've limited yourself, you might not even get another job. Or if you get another job, you've only got one set of experience or one set of skills. Yeah. That in itself is a risk because you've wasted time. Yeah. Whereas, so that's a silent risk, because that seems like a normal risk, right? A lot of people do that kind of thing. They get a job, they think, oh, I'm secure. Kind of like the example he gave about the man that was covered with a tent and just secured. Like, you think it's security, but it's still a risk. This world, our human experience in this world is made up of risks. Put it that way. but you gotta choose the risks you take. And the loud ones are actually the most rewarding. The ones where you might feel a bit of pain, the ones where you might suffer, the ones where you might actually lose it all. Yeah? Those are the loud risks. Like, so, you know, getting into a relationship, that's a risk. You don't know what could come out of it. It could work out, it could not work out, it could make your life worse, you could get trauma out of it, but at the end of the day, it's still a risk you have to take. But what people hope for is marriage at the end. It's a beautiful life, it's a partner that you love, that you fall in love with. But that's not guaranteed. But isn't it worth it to take the risk? Same as having a child, same as starting that business, same as starting a YouTube channel. Anything. And I think it's worth it because at the end of the day, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah? You die. But you know what? We all die at the end. Do you know what I mean? So treat life like an adventure. I agree so much with this statement, man. And it really hit home. You know, like even traveling, for instance, is another risk we take because you got to get on the plane. Yeah, that plane's got to make it to that destination, and planes are quite scary because not a lot of people make it out of plane crashes. And if a plane falls, it's most likely going to land in an ocean. Yeah, because most of the time, especially if you go overseas, you travel across the ocean. Very risky business. But at the end of the day, we all hope that once we get to the other side, we're gonna enjoy it. It's an adventure. It's a new place. Maybe it's an island, whatever it is. And then that reward is you get to see a whole new life. I'll give you a quick story before I end. I remember when I first went to my home country, which is Nigeria. I'm British born, and my family are from Nigeria. And if you know anything about Nigeria, there's a lot of like corruption, and when there's corruption, um, the people in the country kind of suffer, and then that breeds poverty and all of these things. And you know what happens when there's poverty? A lot of bad things happen. So a lot of people used to tell me stories, even not even that's just base level. There's also spiritual stuff that happened in Nigeria too. So um, a lot of people used to tell me, don't go Nigeria. Nigeria is a scary place. It's dangerous. You gotta be careful. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You gotta do this. You know, and I had that feeling, so I didn't want to go. But then one time there was a family trip there. My mum wanted to take us, and couldn't really back out of it. But I went there, and you know what? I had the best time ever in Nigeria. Big up my Nigerian people. Had the best time ever in Nigeria, and I felt a sense of community spirit like I've never felt before. I'm from the UK, and there's not really a sense of community here. It's kind of like every man for himself. Everyone's out to just work and make money. Nigeria, people have a hustling spirit there, but there's a sense of community. The woman down the road, that's your auntie. The man down the road, that's your uncle. You know, yes, that doesn't negate that there's a lot of bad things that happen, but the experience was beautiful, and it was like an adventure. So if I listened to everyone and didn't take that risk, I would never have known that. And that is just the same for everything else. I rather know. I want to know that I tried. Everything I do in this life, I want to know I tried. Yeah? This year, well, towards the ending of last year / this year, I put a lot into this channel, right? Posting damn near every day. And even if it's not a long form video every day, it's a short. Because I want to, if I ever was to give up YouTube, I want to be able to say to myself, I put everything I can into it and it didn't work out. At least I did it. I took the risk. It takes my time because I'm not getting paid yet. But I know that there could be a reward on the other side, and I enjoy creating. So again, Don't be scared. Everything in life is a risk. And once you realize that, the loud risks shouldn't be a problem because you take a risk every day anyway. Anything could happen. There are billions of ways to die or billion ways to lose money. But as long as you've got breath in your lungs, there's always another way to make money. So if you lose one way, you might take time. As long as you're alive, something else could come. And I'm an ideas man. I've tried so many business ventures. I've done so many business ventures. And I'm still here grinding. Yeah? Still here trying to find that one that's gonna skyrocket me to the billions. You dig? So let me end with that, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Okay, so